Hi everyone, Sarah Picaro. Today's video is going to be about how we talk to parts of ourselves, particularly the parts of yourselves that you speak to while you're healing. So I am going to be sharing a recent client experience from one of the sessions that I had today with a client uh, in the realms of how we speak to ourselves. So this is a client who's in her mid 50s. So many wonderful things in life, amazing husband, a daughter, a business, has incredible things going for her, but felt so much anger and felt this receiving of other people not wanting her there and feeling like her voice didn't matter, that what she said didn't matter. And in our session, we were able to go back to times when that most resonated and most connected with her and connect with the parts of her that felt the anger, that felt the tension, and felt that when she spoke, what she said didn't matter, because that significantly impacts how you show up in your life for yourself and how you show up in your life with others. So we've all got different parts of us, right? Physically, but emotionally, we've got different parts as well. We've got parts that love feeling heard and really truly want the best for ourselves and others, but there may be a lot of disconnection between those parts, and how we talk to those parts really, really matters. It makes a huge impact in the quality of your life. So first, I'm going to share the experiences that came up for us and the impact that it had. So, like I said, this was a client, mid 50s, has been living with this for a long time. Who's done a lot of healing, a lot of forgiveness work around other people who've hurt her in the past. And one of those was a parent. Unfortunately, statistics say that 1 out of 6 men is abused, 1 out of 4 women. So abuse, trauma is not something that's just this, oh, 1 in a million. It happens far too often and to more people than people realize or know. And it's not always big traumatic events, what I call big T traumas. Sometimes it is, other times it's small, seemingly insignificant things. So today, in the example that I share, we're going to see a combination and a mixture of both. So, for example, and this was very, very common, when she was a younger girl, she was getting spanked. People had parents that whipped them with belts or spanked them, wooden paddles, wooden spoons, all kinds of things. And the first connection that her mind made to was when she was getting spanked enough that she wanted it to stop, that it was hurting when she was sitting down at school. So she went to the school nurse and she told the school nurse about her parents spanking her. Well, school nurse called home, spoke to the parents. The other parent, not the one that she said was spanking her, the other one showed up at the school nurse's office and said, no, that doesn't happen. And that happens far too often. And in that moment, what she felt was scared, because now she was being perceived as a liar, like she wasn't telling the truth and what she said didn't matter. There she did what she was told to do, what she thought was right to do, was to tell, right? Tell a teacher, tell an adult. That's what we're taught to do. And she did what she was taught to do. And now she's feeling unimportant because the nurse, listened to her, but then called home. And then the other parent showed up and said, no, that doesn't happen. And felt alone, felt that no one was there to support her, no one cared for her, felt insignificant, felt angry because she was telling the truth, but it was made to believe or be perceived that she was lying. And so all those feelings came up. And that was when she was just a little girl in grade school. Another connection that her and her mind made was when she was being compared to her sibling. They were playing instruments. Parent really liked when they played instruments and they played them together, but she was always playing too softly and off tune and couldn't keep up with the melody and the harmony that her sister had, and was made to feel that she just didn't quite compare. Her sister was so much better than her. Sister's sister's good and you're so I'm going to give you another instrument, one with a different pitch, a louder pitch, so I can hear you because you're so quiet and soft. Well, for a child's mind, when they feel that they're not good enough and they don't compare to their sibling, and then made to change something that they're really enjoying so that they can be better, you you develop this belief that something's wrong with you with the way that you are. And so she felt that she was never good enough. She felt that she had to change something about her or something that she loved to measure up to and to compare to this other person that's better. And she felt that I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't matter. I didn't want to end up playing that instrument, but I was forced to and made to. And I just felt like I didn't matter because of that. Another connection that her inner mind made was more of a traumatic, more of an abusive connection, and seeing that her mind went back to a time when there was molestation happening in the family. And I know, right, big T trauma, but was made to believe that it was her fault because of the way she dressed, because of the way she was, because of the way she acted. And as a child, you feel powerless. You can't do anything to stop that from happening, particularly when it's happening from someone that you look up to, someone who loves you, who cares for you, provides for you, and then this is happening. So the mind becomes so confused and really truly does believe what it's told. Well, it's you asked for it. Look at the way you dress. If it weren't for you behaving this way, then it wouldn't happen. And so it makes your inner mind believe I have to change who I am. I have to be different. I have to be something and someone other than who I am so that this pain, this traumatic event experience doesn't happen. Well, how in the world can a child change the things that they're powerless to change? You can't just change who you are, but there's a belief that becomes embedded in the unconscious mind that says, if you don't, this will continue to happen. And she felt a tremendous amount of anger, a tremendous amount of loneliness, inability to stop. So hopeless, helpless, completely defeated, powerless, and felt that she deserved it and it was her fault. Obviously, client's not a child anymore, but the anger and the tension in her body was still paralyzing even decades later. And through the course of our session was able to completely shed and release that by connecting and speaking to the part of her, the anger that created the anger and created the tension. And in that, in untwisting, unknotting, and unbinding that, realize that the anger and the tension was helping her, was protecting her, was keeping her safe, and was helping her grow, having her know just how special she is, because she knew internally she was not those things that happened to her, that those were, in fact, lies. And they were not the truth about her. It was not the truth that she deserved it or that it was her fault, but there was a part of her that held on to the anger and the tension and did so to try and protect her and keep her safe. And through our session was able to deeply and unconsciously connect to that part of her and begin speaking to that part of her in a different way, in a much more profound and powerful way. Was able to thank it for doing what it did for her, for all those decades, for all those years, for protecting her. Thank it for keeping her safe. So it is extremely powerful when you're able to connect to those parts of you. It's really difficult to do on a conscious level and almost impossible to do like on your own. You can try and do it, but they're deeply embedded in your unconscious mind. And like I said, it may be something significant, but it may be something seemingly insignificant, like going to the nurse's office and having a parent called, like, being told that you need to play a different instrument. And it was through that and through our session that she was able to completely transform, identify that she had this protective shield and armor around her. And now those that she's closest to and those that she loves and connects with the most, she was keeping so far away. And that anger that she had from all those past events and experiences and were getting projected onto the people that she loves the most. And that's when she came to me and she said, Sarah, I'm a loving, kind person. I don't know why I'm this way with this people. And through our session today, through just one session, she was able to break through that, completely shatter and disintegrate that shield and that armor that she didn't even realize she had been carrying. And she had done a lot of forgiveness work in the past with the perpetrator specifically, and had forgiven that perpetrator, but didn't realize she was still carrying the armor and the shield that was harboring anger and tension, and it was paralyzing her body. And so much so that in her life today, when she would engage in a conversation, it would be like 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. She would put her idea and her thoughts out there, and then if that person didn't agree with it, she would say, okay, let me try to see your perspective, your point of view, and have a conversation about it. And the way that she was having that conversation was creating a lot of tension. And so she would give it one more chance, but then 3 strikes, you're out. And she would say, you know what? And then my body just was paralyzed and I just need to leave. I just need to get out of there. So when working with the different parts of you, like I said before, it's kind of difficult to connect with those parts internally and consciously on your own. But finding forgiveness for those parts, being with those parts, and she was able to say that, you know, I thank you. Thank you for protecting me the way that you did. Thank you for being there for me when no one was, when I felt completely and utterly alone, and those who should have protected me and kept me safe completely abandoned me. You stepped in to take their place. So thank you for that. And your survival, the very fact that you have survived through all of this has kept me alive and allowed me to survive. And then forgiveness, saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I misunderstood what you were doing for me for all those years. I understand now how you protected me and how you kept me safe, and apologizing. I'm sorry that I made you wrong. That part of her, that anger and that tension that came into her life, didn't come into her life to hurt her, came into her life to protect her. And now she was making the anger wrong, and in making it right, it was able to be freed and let go. So using words, using language like this after connecting to that inner part of you. And if you're in that space and you're stuck there and you're feeling that your voice doesn't matter, what you have to say doesn't matter, know that how you feel matters. And what she felt was anger, was tension, and that feeling mattered. It was trying to show her something that she was blind to seeing before getting to that place unconsciously through the work that we were able to do in our session. And this is true, especially about the people who have made you afraid, especially about people that you think you may have forgiven, because maybe you've done, you know, some conscious work or journaling or exercises or affirmations or mantras. I forgive you. And she realized she also needed to forgive herself. That was another piece that hadn't yet been connected until our session. And forgiveness for the other person for not being there to support her when they should have, and forgiveness for herself for not being there to support herself when she wanted and needed it the most. There was anger and tension around that. And now giving yourself and giving others what you need for you. All the things that you never got. And understanding that at the unconscious level makes the most profound, the most significant difference, especially when you are ready to break free. And maybe you've done a lot of work already, but there's still this anger, there's still this tension in your body, and you just don't understand it because it's not like you. So if that's where you're at along your journey to healing, and you've done the work and you've done a ton of work, and you're wondering, I just don't get it. Why is it that even if I have forgiven the perpetrator and I have moved on and it's been years, and maybe that person is no longer around, maybe they've completely passed, but you're still hurting. There's parts of you that are still hurting, still in pain, still feeling disconnected, still feeling out of place, out of sorts, and you're still feeling like what you have to say doesn't matter, or that you're quick to anger and you're quick to project, and you want to stop being that way because you're hurting those that you love the most. Then there's still more work to be done. And I would love to speak with you and connect with you on how to do that work so that you can move. After, it was like she was a completely different person. I mean, even her posture went from this to, oh, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea that I had created a shield and a barrier. I feel free now. And I asked her after our session, what would someone who feels free like to do now? And she said, just be, just be in this moment for a while. Then go be with the people that I love, like really be with them without that shield, without that barrier, without the protection of anger, and really listen. And she told me, Sarah, I've been really, really trying to listen. And it was hard. I knew I needed to listen to them instead of just, go off on them. Now I see why it was so hard to do what I needed to do and to just listen. Now I see it. And that's not me anymore. I don't need that. And I asked her, where is the shield now? And she said, it's gone. So extremely profound. This has been my experience of using hypnosis and rapid transformational therapy, and so many of my clients' experiences as well. And if you're looking for something that works and that is powerful and works quickly, I would love, again, to speak with you, to connect with you, to see if we're good fit to work together. So if that's the case and that's where you're at, please click on the link in the description or the comments below this video so that we can connect. Until then, give those parts what they mean. Most likely compassion, forgiveness, and love. All right, guys, take care.